From Daily Forex, this is Chris. I'm looking at the S&P 500 and the NASDAQ 100. You can see the S&P 500 has rallied on Friday. And now I think we have to start looking at this resistance area as more like on the whole. So what I mean by that is you can see that the last three times that we had visited the 2800 region, we sold off rather quickly. And in fact, the first two times we formed what looked to be a range, and then we broke down. And as you look at these three areas, the one thing they all have in common is the market dropped at least 180 or so points. And it did it rather quickly. It did it in a three candle reversal. Well, we've just kind of been hanging out here. And this tells me that there's a lot of underlying demand. Doesn't mean that I'm willing to buy here, but it certainly looks as if a buy on the dips attitude has kind of worked its way into this market. The question is, can we break the highs? Which I'm going to use this candlestick as a proxy. So this was Monday. So breaking above the highs on Monday, 2820 or so, allows this market to go looking towards 2900. There are a whole host of reasons to think that this market might roll over. However, it just won't. And that tells you something. It doesn't matter what's right. It matters what happens. At this point, I would need to see a pretty impulsive red candlestick, something like this, or at very least like this, to start shorting. Again, it doesn't necessarily mean I want to be a buyer, but if you're a short-term trader, the buy on the dips trade has been the one that's worked for a while. Over here in the NASDAQ, it looks like we got a little farther to go to 7250 or so, which is the next resistance barrier. Closing pretty strong for the week. And at this point, I think this is a buy on the dips opportunity as well. I also believe that it's not until we break 7,000 that you can begin to think about selling. This to me looks like it's trying to break out. And if it does, it'll probably drag the S&P 500 with it. Again, you can't just buy. You can't just go in and buy and hang on. You need little bits of value as a trader. As an investor, that might be a different story. But an investor also has a longer time frame, isn't worried about losing 5%, that kind of thing. So certainly has an upward bias still. And Friday's candlestick is closing really well. So I think that's the tell.